Can I send you my commission tracking spreadsheet? Dashboard.
You can send me.
Okay.
Well, you're asking that though about a specific event, what time has it been done by?
Yeah, I'm doing that class.
So, yeah. Put that in there. My brain goes. In the meantime, it's want to do that.
And I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, and I was like, well.
Don't worry, it only gets worse.
I'd say I'm probably the only person that's problem with keeping that thing grounded, but others, you know.
Like, okay.
Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Right. Right. Yeah. You want me to do that? I didn't. Yeah. Like, I was just like, really? Oh, sure.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Almost afternoon. Almost afternoon. Feels awesome to be back. As you know, I just came back from a trip and it was amazing. So I just wanted to say thanks to KWPR because I wouldn't have done that without this company and without Karina pushing me on my 411s. My wife and I have traveled a lot. We've just never traveled together for no reason other than to travel together. So, however, one part was really awkward. Got to the airport and forgot my luggage. So can you imagine how embarrassed I was standing there with all my clothes? It took forever on the belt. Lost a pair of underwear. But welcome. This is the Keller Williams Preferred Realty weekly. We call it a stakeholder meeting, team meeting, and this is an opportunity for us as leadership to pour all that we do for you, with you in one day. And to us, we get to pour into some amazing people, and that helps our lives feel so good. How's that for Wayno? How's that? One thing I thought of is, there's just a lot of things I think we need to do. They're sitting there, and it seems like life shakes us up quite a bit. It's kind of like this. Talk about value. Right now, this is valuable to you, right?
No.
Not
at all.
Well, you can at least sell it. But if you do this, all right, that's probably, y'all feel this way sometimes? Pressure building up, all right? I don't know about you, that's how I felt going into the snowstorm. But coming back to that, it's just, the thought of it is to just take inventory of our lives real quick. For me, it's like, what shakes you up? There are things that are meant to shake us up, and that's important because it gives us the energy to do the right thing or what we want to do in life. But there's a lot of things I realize that shake me up that are unwarranted. Like the algorithm on my phone, right? The phone likes to send me stuff that shakes me up. So if I stay shooken up, be it news, politics, bad sports trades, whatever it might be, it's meant to shake you up. So is that really what you want? Is it really what you want? For me, politically, I've changed my views 3 different times. And so I get lots of weird feeds from both sides, so to speak. And I look back on it and I go, how much of this information was valuable to me? Is it worth getting all shook up about? It's kind of like last year at the NAR settlement. We got shook up. We got very shook up. With the help of our leadership, or excuse me, our ALC, Agent Leadership Council, we were able to make it a great thing. There's a lot of economic uncertainty right now. We can keep following the algorithms that get shook up, or we can reduce that in our lives. I just want you to think about that. And then, what can be trimmed to give more capacity? Because when you look at this, there's only so much space, right? If it's full to here, we don't have a lot of give, do we? We don't have a lot of give. So we want more capacity to take things out of our lives so we have more room for that. The other thing is with your client, another agent, our kids, we never know when we're walking up on someone like this, do we?
Sometimes.
We don't know, right? But we might be the one that was there when the lid pops off, right? So it's kind of like we got a choice. Do we want to throw Mentos into this and blow it up more? Or give it time and then respond? And last thing on my trip that really freaked me out, they had armed guards everywhere, cruising up and down the road. Finally, I said, what is going on? And they said, Olivia Manson's coming to town. So they had to prepare the whole country. If you don't know, she's in Mexico right now. All right, that being said, this is our belief system here. Win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing. Customers always come first. Commitment in all things. Communication, seek first to understand. Creativity, ideas before results. Teamwork, together everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, and success results through people. That was created by our first ever ALC, then added equity in 2021. It's a company built by agents for agents. And let's give Stacy a round of applause. So, Stacy is the?
Director of Operations.
Okay, because I got it wrong first. It's your So thank you. Director of Operations, and I didn't even know they had their doctor. Anyway, sorry. So Stacy was nominated for many reasons, and the big one is just how many things she did in 1 week and went to both classes here for continuing education. And her husband, which is pretty cool, her husband and her son and herself are instrumental in boys volleyball becoming a sanctioned sport. I don't know if you know this, in Minnesota it wasn't a sanctioned sport until this past year, and they had a huge played a huge role. And if you're at any of the stuff that we have that involves music, and she's there, the pure joy on her face when she dances is worth the price of admission. So way to go, Stacy. Thank you. Remember, nominate someone, please. It helps us to know the high quality of the people that surround you, because we're only as good as the people that are around you, and the people around you are pretty amazing, especially our support staff, people that are behind the scenes that help us all shine brighter. So let's give it up for Tate. Where's Tate?
I'm here. Thank you. Okay. Okay, thanks, I will. We have a lot today because we have so many fun things happening. We're just gonna give them all to you all at one time so that it's not overwhelming at all. Okay, this is a series of classes that I think it's the finance department, correct? Finance committee, yeah. Finance committee is doing. So Tom Wright, Jason says he's always right. So you should come to this class because you're not gonna get any wrong answers. March 13th at 12:30 is going to be commissions and capping, and that's tomorrow, I believe. And then starting an LLC, also with Tom Wright on March 20th at 1:30 at the training room. So those are gonna be really good classes. We have the KWPR Supper Club this month at the North Star Tavern. That's on March 20th at 6 p.m. If you would like to come, please let Misha know, and we'll make sure we have the correct number of seats reserved. The Leverage Series is coming, and this is being taught by Patrick Woods. This is a regional event, and Olivia and the region worked really hard to get all of these really awesome people here for us this year. So that's going to be March 26th and 27th at the Regency by Mall of America. They're teaching on the career visioning and 30, 60, 90. So if you are interested in hiring an admin or just curious about the career visioning process in general, this is going to be a really good informational learning time on those topics.
Smile.
Thank you. Welcome. Beat the Algorithm with Rachel Adams Lee is coming. She is the social media queen of real estate. She has taught here in the past. She's really, really great. And the class is only $25. So it's going to be really great. She's going to be talking about the algorithm, obviously. She's had lots and lots of success with social media, and she has a lot of rules and things that she'll teach you that help you, create business via social media.
She's
So
often on stage with Gary too.
she is, yeah. Yeah, she's just really great, and she's having her work. So, yeah.
She needs a new algorithm.
Yeah, she does. So you can sign up via the link. It's also on Facebook. The Don't Get Fined, Get Compliant class that's being taught by Melissa Johnson is being taught on March 25th at 1:30. This is discovering the do's and don'ts of promoting your listings, yourself, and your business while staying on the right side of regulations. This will also be a good time that if you have just any compliance questions regarding social media, print, any of that kind of stuff, CE, bring those questions, and it'll be a really great time to just chat with Melissa about the things that you have questions about regarding compliance. Okay, this one is for Mikey. Mikey is doing a food drive, and she's going to be setting up some boxes out in the front lobby, and they'll be set up until the 31st of March. They're hoping to collect canned goods, so you can put those in there, and she'll pick them up on the 31st. I don't think she's here.
She's right there.
I'm here. Hi.
Oh, hi, Mikey. Do you want?
Sorry. I
No.
had a flat tire, so I decided to stay home.
Sorry, no worries. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
So I live in the Southwest Minnesota area, and we have here more low-income area where a lot of people are very in need of canned goods, and working with the Murray County Food Shelf. So the West Central Association, where I'm on the enhancement team, they receive nominations every year and collect them and spread them then out over the year, so that every month a different food shelf in this area receives a grant from the West Central Association, which is our MLS here in this area. So you guys have SPAR, we have Westcar. And every time somebody receives a check, additionally, the realtors sit together and create a marketing plan and set up boxes to collect more donations to try to match those grants. So we would appreciate your support.
Awesome. Yes, so she will have boxes set up in the front lobby. Feel free to bring, your canned goods. Make sure they're not expired, please. And feel free to participate. Thank you, Mikey.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a little bit about March Madness. We are having a March Madness bracket here in the office. Jen and Grace have been working hard on this. Jen, do you have?
Yeah, it's just an easy way to compete with your fellow agents. So you can enter by scanning that QR code, and it'll download an app for you. And then you can enter as many brackets as you'd like. It's $10 per bracket. Half of the proceeds will go to KW Cares, and then the winner will get the other half. So you can do it all online. You can you can send your money to Karina via Venmo, or you can give her cash, and she's going to keep track of that way. So it'll be really easy. So agents that aren't coming into the office can participate too. You can enter as many brackets as you want. Yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna win.
No, you're not.
And when does it start?
Selection is this Sunday, so I think we said that the submissions have to be in by.
The first game is on the 21st, so as long as your bracket is done by tip-off of the first game, you're good.
You're legit.
Okay, awesome. Sounds fun. I think I've never done this before in my life, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah, do it. Me neither. You can AI your bracket if you want.
Okay. Thank you for the
I
tips.
might take that route, but.
Yeah, I'm Gemini. Okay, cool. This, we are having more information coming out about this, but our next client event, so agent event for your clients, is going to be Arbor Day on April 25th. There's gonna be more information coming out about that soon, but we just wanted to give you kind of like a little save the date. We'll have more coming in the next couple of key meetings. Okay, now this one is the one really we've all been waiting for. We're introducing Mini Mike Monday. Some of you may or may not have seen the video that was on Facebook this past Monday. But the question was, if you won the lottery, what's the first thing you would do? And so Grace and I are gonna go around every Wednesday and Friday and interview some of those people that are in the office and ask you random questions, just as a little, some of us, are really into our business, which is a really great thing, but we need a little like fun and lighting it up around here. So we're introducing Mini Mike Monday. So Jason, will you play the video for us?
What's up? Oh my gosh, a cabin. Yes. I buy a new truck. No, I buy a new horse. I rescue all the kitties. The short answer would be to buy a real estate investment property. But we'd probably pay off our mortgage and then buy a brand new house with lots of acreage. Buy my husband this farm he wants. A vacation. Real estate.
I would buy my home, a big lake place on Lake Superior.
First thing I'd buy is a new car.
A nicer house.
A lake house.
Yay! So thanks for those participants. We're gonna go around every week. There's gonna be some questions that are really silly, like that Grace and I just have, disagreeing opinions on that we just want, like if you share toothpaste with your spouse. But some of them may require a little bit more thought. So make sure you check out the post the previous week, because we might put a little tip in there like, hey, next week the question will be this, so you have time to think about it. Sometimes not, sometimes yes. Anyway, that's all I have, I think.
Awesome. One other thing, we haven't had a slide for you, but on the first Friday in April, what is it, the 4th, from 11 to 2, it's the luxury home tour. Our luxury leader, Sarah, is gonna pick the tour.
I'm not by myself, but I want.
No, yes, you're here, so. To help us pick the exact tour, so we have a tour bus and yummies, maybe some drinks, it'll be great. So the 4th, and a parade of homes, it's the last weekend of it, it's a Friday, and it's gonna be a blast, so it'll probably sell out quick. And so we'll get that info to you right away. It's gonna be a good time. Speaking of good time. All right, well, we got some amazing people here. That's probably the music that'll play. So come on up, our panel, we have Sarah, Jennifer, Tony, and Michelle. Woo! We have a fifth, kinda, and that is Jason. Because Jason is the 36 touch guru. Well, welcome. Sarah's having way too much fun on this chair. Oh, okay, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Well, hello. Where am I gonna go now?
Nobody knows where you're gonna go, dude.
I'll get right in everyone's way. I'll just stay here. So, welcome, thank you. I would love to start, first of all, what we're gonna be talking about is 36 touch, and that's an important subject, especially right now, well, especially at every time, no matter what the market is doing. And I'd love for the panelists to start with when did they start, how long have they been in, and when was their first big explosion into the business to become where they're at now? Sarah.
When did I start?
When did you start?
August of 2015, so I'm coming up on 10 years. I think I might be the newest of the, when were you?
95.
Ooh.
Yeah. my first big explosion into.
When did you take off? I mean, was it a big struggle at first and then boom, or was it right out of the gates? How did you become Sarah? What was the first big jump to becoming Sarah that we know today?
I mean, this happens to play in with why the four of us are sitting up here, but when I committed to doing the 36 touch, to be perfectly honest. And then for me, the other actual explosion was hiring Stacy and just being able to take my business to a whole different level. And then she handled the 36 touch. But yeah, I mean, for me, it took about a year before I really took 36 touch seriously. I think I knew the concept and I'd heard it, but it seemed overwhelming and I didn't commit to it too much in the beginning.
Thank you. And those of you who don't know what 36 touch is, we will touch on that shortly. Thank you. Jen.
So I've been in it for 5.5 years. And as far as like an explosion, I don't think I've ever had an explosion for me. It's just been a consistent little bit of a climb, you know, constantly tweaking and working on it. And yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I've been in the business 23 years now, 24 actually. And then probably the explosion that happened in my business was probably about 13 years ago when I took Bold for the first time. And it was a kind of I went into it as it had to change something in my business or I had to get another job. And it was a do or die situation and it completely changed my entire business and it took off from there.
I feel old. I have been in the business since May of '95, so it'll be 30 years in May. And so I was 20 years with a competitor, and I kind of stayed at a $2.5 million, $3 million a year. I worked for some teams, but that was just kind of my consistent. I had coffee with Olivia and altered the course of my life and my family's life. So I came here, gosh, it's gonna be 10 years, I think, this year. And I said to Olivia, what do I do? Because I told her my goal then was to do 5 million. If I could do 5 million in real estate every year for the rest of my career, I'd be happy. And I said, what do I do? And she told me to take the 36 touch class that happened right after I came over. And I implemented it immediately. And it was the one thing I did. And I did 5 million that year. And continue to grow that in these 10 years. My highest year was 12 and had some life events happening, so it's flexed, but that was my big catapult, was adding 36 touch and being consistent with it.
Awesome, well said. So, 36 touch, Jason. He loves when we just talk about the touches of people, and don't take that the weird way.
Yeah, that's not the weird way, but I will say this, and as we go through this, every time as you're sitting in the audience, the biggest thing I think is super important is when somebody says 36 touch, you hear, or 36 touch plan, you hear 36 touch. You start thinking about 36. The 36 touch plan is most effective when you think about the word plan. That this is a plan, a system, the number of touches you're gonna touch your clients with over the year is way more than 36. And if you're focused on the 36, you're on the wrong side of this equation. It's the plan that matters, and being systematic about your communication, the frequency of your communication is what's relevant. Now, you want to get to 36, but that's not where we're focused to be. So as we talk about this today, keep in mind that what's important is laying this out for yourself in advance so you know what you're working towards.
And Jason is amazing at a lot of things, and in this case, he's great at taking what your 36 touch plan can look like for you. So we'll hear more from you, I hope, as we move forward. We usually do. Even if we don't want you to, but it winds up being like really funny when you do anyway, and then we wanted you to after.
Yar, it be the truth.
Now, Michelle Hoagland, real quick though, Tom Wright told me that when he joined your team, that's when life took off for you. Is that true? She laughed pretty hard at that time.
It did make a change.
Yeah, it did. She had the 36 Tom plan. So Sarah, okay, first, when did you first realize, learn about the 36 touch and how did you implement it?
I'm sure, I probably went to the same class you did or one soon after that. I think I learned about the 36 touch pretty early on. My first transaction ever was 3 weeks after I was licensed, and it was my sister. So that definitely helped me get going, and was doing no marketing at that point. But I think originally when I thought of the 36 touch, I thought of marketing to open house leads. I did a ton of FSBOs. So that I was thinking in terms of staying in front of them, and I truly honestly believed, I posted on Facebook that I got my real estate license. My sphere is covered. They all know. And I didn't really get the whole top of mind thing yet. I did 11 transactions, my first, 11 pieces of business, my first full year in real estate. And I would say probably 9 of those 11 were FSBOs or open house leads, not my sphere. I had several friends not use me that year, make a move and not use me. And it was at the end of that year when I started thinking about why wouldn't they pick me? I realized what the 36 touch actually was meant to be, and I completely shifted everything over to sending postcards. I will say, if you're gonna commit to spending money on anything, I'm a big believer in sensations. It brings me a ton of business. And I just committed to spending that, and I started off sending it to essentially my holiday card list of people and grew it from there. So for me, it was committing to doing that and a monthly email, and so it wasn't 36 touch at first, it was probably 24, somewhere in there, to your point, but it was something that was consistent. I did 11 my first year, I did 30 my second year, pieces of business. So that's when you ask about the explosion, it's that moment when I committed to doing that.
I saw a couple heads kind of do this. What sensations?
Oh, yeah, you guys can't read my mind. Sensations is just a monthly postcard. It can be, there's a million different topics. I resisted the whole recipe thing because I thought realtors always do recipes and I'm gonna be different. And finally, the guy that we're in touch with, at least Dave, he talked me into doing recipes after a couple years, and I get comments on these recipes everywhere I go. I was just meeting with a new client, their son, who's a past client of mine, and then his daughter. And the daughter lives in Minneapolis, parents live in Rosemount, and she said, I come home every month to get your postcard. Constantly people bring that to me.
Wow.
But it's a business expense, but if you're consistent with it.
And the minimum's 200 to
yes,
sign up.
200.
The important thing to elaborate there too is, if you're gonna spend money on something, make sure you can spend that money on it for long enough to know if it's working or not. Yeah. We don't wanna run a couple plays and then just give up on the run.
You pay for a year up front, I think.
Yeah, you can break it into.
But it's it's just like 3 months, and you're paying for the whole year though.
Yeah, so, and that is a set and forget.
Yep.
Having an automated email, when I started it was e-edge, there was a little e-newsletter that went out. I didn't have to think about those things, which is huge. And then I could focus on some of the other things that were extra touches that took me picking up the phone or actually reaching out to people. But getting those two things automated so that I didn't have to think about them anymore, but I still showed up in people's inbox or mailbox. My thing is always, I know that I get a lot of compliments on those postcards. I also know that there's a lot of them that end up in the garbage, but somebody had to see my face while they walked to their recycle bin. That's really all I care about.
And pardon me, before we move on to the next person, Jason, you want to explain 36 touch? I was going to do that, but I didn't actually. 36 touch. Explain. You want to explain what the plan basically is?
Well, the plan is to contact your clients roughly 3 times a month in a strategic and systematic way. Typically, most agents will have something like a newsletter or a market piece of news delivered alternately during the month. So if you're using Command monthly, the monthly neighborhood nurture is a great piece of market news that you can deliver once a month on a regular basis. For agents who've been in my class, you know that I really recommend sending your monthly neighborhood nurture out on a particular date. So that when you follow it up with something like sensations or a newsletter or something like that, that can be set on a separate date later in the month, so those things are spaced out equally, and your customers can routinely, or your potential clients can routinely get a piece of information from you versus the idea of just, I'm gonna enroll you in monthly neighborhood nurture when I create you as a client, and then you start sending it out all over the time. The cool thing about a systematic process like that is you now have a built-in follow-up method as well. So if I send my monthly neighborhood nurture out on the 15th, I can look on the 16th, 17th, and 18th, see who's seen that, and automatically have a call list to go back to and say, all right, I can call all these people because they're opening my stuff. Same thing with sensations. And then from there, those two pillars that are building out your business, you want to take the other touches you have and make them quarterly calls, quarterly client events, other sorts of things that you're going to do throughout the year to stay in contact with your clients, but they're far more personal to you and your business maybe than these two systematic things. So if you think of it as 12, 12, and 12, that kind of shores up the thing. But again, the idea is the plan. Stick with the plan and you'll get to the touches over time.
I think when, like, you're spacing everything out, when you do it right or even a little bit right, people don't feel like they're hearing from you 3 times a month. People say to me, I see you everywhere. I'm like, yeah, because I'm constantly sending you stuff. But they don't think of it that way. They just are seeing my face, and I mean, that's what I'm trying to create. But I have never had anyone say, leave me alone, stop bothering me. I've had people unsubscribe from things, but overall, they don't see it as being overwhelming.
Thank you for that. And again, what does Gary say? We can only rise as high as our systems, right? Or we can only be as good as our systems are. We can't be better than our systems. So this is a good system. Jen, so when you're at Edina, did you start one there, or was Jason the first time you sat down with someone? And
Jason definitely helped me refine my 36 touch plan and perfect it here, but yeah, I started right away. I owned a small business before I came into real estate, so I had a decent sized sphere right away. So I just implemented all those automated things, the happy birthday, eventually the happy anniversary, move in, move out anniversaries, the neighborhood nurture. I try to get everybody's address so it's really, personalized to their neighborhood. And over time, like last year, I did my first personal event. I take advantage of like the market center events, but I did my own personal event. And that was a great success. And then Grace just helped me get my newsletter together, and I'm getting really good feedback on that. So like I said, for me, it's just been consistent implementation and growing and tweaking. And one thing I just want to say, as far as not making your people feel bombarded, I think it's getting that mix of sales and personal touches so that you're not just always like, I'm a real estate agent, I want to sell them, I want to help you, but they're like getting to know you as a person, and you're giving them value in other ways as well, like recipes.
Yeah. Jen, you mentioned your newsletter. What's your open rate on your newsletter? Do you know?
I just did my first one March 1st, and I didn't even look at my open rate.
Grace, what's the open rate, Grace?
50%.
Wow.
Ooh, yay. That's
Wow.
fabulous, Jen.
And
That's a big
I
deal.
have just one page, super straightforward, and I have a couple blocks that are really personal, and that's the comments that I've been getting from people, like, my son was engaged, and I've got lots of calls like, congratulations on your son getting engaged. So I just think it's the personal, we have to remember to implement those personal components to it too.
that's pretty good. That's almost half.
Yeah, yay. Good job, Grace.
And part of the 36 touch plan, generally it's quarterly events, whether they're your own or like what Jen said with the market center. And at the market center, what we do is first quarter is we do a $1,000 giveaway. That's one you can just plug into. Arbor Day, we have one coming up where we're looking to have it so that you can, just like the Christmas tree giveaways, these are little tree giveaways that people can plant in the name of somebody so that you guys are separated from all of the realtors that are doing the Christmas trees. That will be an opportunity here coming up on Arbor Day. We have a carnival / shredding opportunity, and that's not cheese. That is all your paperwork, so people can come and do
What is
that.
that? The shredding?
The shredding, when do we have it? Do we know?
It's this summer.
Oh, it's the summer.
Yeah.
I believe it's June.
June,
Or July.
and that'll be a good time. We'll have that coming out to you as well. And then there's trunk or treat. We hope to really fill that up this year. The kids loved it, and it's really fun to see each other dress up like that. That was cool. And Pics with Santa, pictures of Santa. So those are that's 5 things that you can plug into on your own. 5 reasons to reach out to everybody and say, hey, come to this, and then follow up with them afterwards. So the touch plan becomes easy.
I will say Santa this year is Santa Sid as a market center.
Oh, wow.
So thanks to Ryan for
Yeah.
opening our eyes to that.
What? Yeah.
Santa Sid.
Famous.
He's
Here's the
a
ball.
celebrity.
For 30 years.
It's the Santa.
The Santa.
So how will you like divide that up between the agents? Because that will be huge. Like, will you give them just a slotted amount of?
Yeah, we'll have a whole system in place when we get a little closer.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that we have it fully figured out yet.
I mean, come on, it's March.
Yeah, but we
Okay.
will make sure that, we'll make sure.
She's worried what list she's on. That's what she wants to.
Exactly.
Man, the naughty
My kids
list
have always
or
got
no?
the Santa said when they were little.
Oh,
I
so
know,
nice.
good memories.
And then,
All right, so for us, we really, I started the 36 Touch program when I was a single agent years ago, and it was kind of a hit or miss. You know, some parts were you know, systematic as far as like the sensations. I started that right away, and then some of the newsletter things I got into that a little later. But truly, once that I became a team and I had an admin that was their job, was to systematize the entire process. And it's been it definitely evolved over time, but we have it down to like a science now. And I don't have to think about hardly any of it. It's just run for me. And for our agents the same way. They just, here's what we have coming up, and this is, and part of it is the events, the client events that we do have, and then we also have some community events that we are part of too. So people are getting to see us in person quite often too. And then that's a great way for us to call, because there's something that we're inviting them to. There's always an invite. It's not a call that, you know, hey, I'm just calling out of the blue. What are you gonna buy, sell, or invest in real estate? But it's all about inviting them to things. And every time that we do our PI event, we have multiple people come in with already like, hey, we're gonna do something this year, or somebody else, we know somebody else, we want you to get in touch with them. It's amazing how many referrals we get off of our in-person events.
awesome. Tony.
I'm gonna just spin a little bit, because I feel like we're gonna all just be repeating the same thing, so I'll do the same thing. I will say, if looking back, I think we have to be really careful to not send too many emails. I think we all get 1,000 emails a day, and so another email and another email and another email. So I think being really careful. I had my monthly neighborhood, and that's got a great, people look at that, they're watching. I did add in a monthly home update, like taking care of your house, like, hey, it's March, make sure to do this, that, or the other thing. And I think it started to be too much, because I had a third one in there that was, hey, can you help me? And this is a weird one. I get somebody else, like some other agent at another Keller had it. And it's, can you help me is the name of the title. And then it says, my business is all referral. Do you know anybody that might be thinking of making a move? I'd love for you to connect to me. And I'm not even sure how I set that up. In one of the systems, when life has been crazy, I ended up that, but it went out every month. But people were responding to that crazy, like, oh, Tony, I'll for sure make sure I connect them. I don't know anybody right now, but it was crazy, the response. So I removed the monthly how to take care of your house, and I put that on twice a year, that they get this, hey, can you help me? So they're not overwhelmed with it. I do, personally, I love personal mail instead of junk mail. I do the sensations, but I quarterly send something to my people that is always a call to action, and I'm giving them something because I feel like we learned through the process when you give something to someone, for some reason, like if you buy somebody a cup of coffee, they feel like they owe you a cup of coffee. They don't, but they feel, there's that thing. And so my big one is March, I send out a blessing, an Irish blessing. I'm not Irish, I don't know how this started, but for St. Patty's Day, I also put a scratch off in there. So every year it's a different blessing. And then it talks a little bit of housing market update. At the bottom, I have buyer needs and upcoming listings, and I put a dollar scratch off. And people will call, and it's always in a green envelope, and they love this. I mean, people will message me after they scratch their dollar scratch off to say, didn't win this year, but thanks, right, blah, blah, blah. They love this, it's a bug, right? And I find that one is one of my biggest, like they could go to Quick Trip for $1 and get their own scratch off, but for some reason they love this. Around 4th of July, I normally do some kind of giveaway for people who aren't, if you're new and you're trying to figure it out. It doesn't have to be a vacation to Tahiti. It can be something, right? Watch for something to go on clearance, whatever. I normally do like a barbecue basket. That's a bunch of stuff. I've done with my St. Patty's Day, and one year I did $250 in scratch-offs in a bucket with a bottle of champagne, and kid you not, huge turnout. Like, I think people thought they were gonna get $1 million off these scratch-offs, but it was a huge turnout. So I like to do a quarterly something where there's a mail, there's a QR code they gotta fill out, and it's name, address, email address, updated phone, right? Just simple, and it automatically registers them for this whatever drawing I'm giving away. Or I've done 4th of July, the classes that you watch fireworks with, and it makes it crazy to put one in there, and they share them. If they post on social media and tag me in it with their glasses, it enters them into this drawing, like a Visa gift card or something. They love that too. So I think calling them to action to, right, I want to give you this, and all you have to do is give me your information, or here's these silly glasses, whatever that is. I think it's getting that conversation going. So.
Tony, can I ask a quick follow-up question? Because I think you nailed something I think is really important. How long have you been doing the St. Patrick's Day thing?
Since the first year.
So, and you do it every year?
Every year.
I say this a million times, but consistency is way more important than perfection, getting bogged down in fonts and colors. Now, she has a green envelope and consistently sends it in a green envelope, but the fact that you do it all the time is why people look forward to it and talk with you about it. Now, you can't build consistency until you do it the first time, but the fact that you regularly do it is what makes it such a part of it and keeps you at the top of their mind. And so please understand that's an important part of this process is whatever you choose to do, just do it consistently so that it will work. If you're constantly changing what you're doing, you're never going to build up the credibility that you're looking for with the event.
I would a little bit disagree. I think, and the reason I say that is if like that works, it's a book, it's easy. I don't have to really think about it. I literally go Google a new Irish blessing, and hopefully it's not one I've done in the last 10 years, and I put it in there with, I change up the listings. But I do think, I do different things that I hit them because they know when they're getting an envelope from me, there's something of value in it.
Sure. That's
the consistent.
Yes,
It's not necessarily, like, yes, every year on St. Patty's Day, they give that envelope for me, but throughout the rest of the year, it's not necessarily always 4th of July. It could be Labor Day, it could be Memorial Day, it could be whatever, because as we know, real estate gets busy, we all get busy. I don't have an assistant, it's me taking care of me. And so, and my people. And so it doesn't always, I think it's just being consistent that if you're mailing them something, that what's in that envelope is going to feed them, right? It's not about you. It's not about, hey, who do you know looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? It's, hey, I thought of you, this. Hey, I want to bless you, this. And I think it can be as simple as, I have one guy whose son was killed in a car accident. Every year I mail him, I'm thinking about you, right? Super simple. He has referred so many people to me, and it's just that it's one of those things that stuck out. I put it in my calendar because I think it's a huge, obviously a horrible thing for him. He never doesn't go a year without thinking about it. And so the fact that I am a realtor and I'm just showing him a little bit of love every year in that moment, he will, I believe in it, and it's authentic. Like, I think that's the thing, is figure out what works for you, be authentic in it. We had somebody here years ago that was the arbor, you can plant a tree in the National Forest. It's $5 donation, they'll plant a tree, and you can do it in somebody else's name. So if I see somebody lose a pet, or lose a mom, or a dad, or whatever on social media, I see that, I go in, they mail a card, it comes directly from the Arbor Foundation or whoever it does it. And again, it's a $5 donation, but they get a card that says a tree's been planted in the Superior National Forest in remembrance of John. And then it's, has my information. That's a huge impact, right? Like, that's a touch. That's who I want to be in their life. That's the realtor I want to be, is very personal touch, and that's who I am. And not everybody runs their business that way. Some people are business, and that's okay too. It's figuring out where your lane is and then staying in that lane, right? And building off of that.
That's amazing. Well, you've trained people to give. You're showing them how to give, and that's amazing. And that personal touch, they'll never forget you for that. The one thing is, when we reach out to people, it seems like our business grows or stays consistent. We have light to give. We're pouring light into people who then light up, and hopefully light up their world, and they will want to respond. That's just natural. And thirdly, I want to be on your mailing list.
You want to scratch up.
Yes. Sarah, let's hear about some of your events.
We've tried lots of different things.
What do you mean by tried? Tell us what you got going on and then why maybe it changed. That'd be cool.
One thing I used to do, and I know other people in here have done it, is the Paul's Market, like Christmas. Paul used to do it, the spruce, yeah. And that was something where people would ask me, when is that? I want to make sure it's on my calendar. But it got a little too expensive for me, and so I had to back away from that, and we switched over to doing a Saints game, which is also not inexpensive, but we have a lender partner that splits that with me, and so this will be our third year now doing the Saints game, and that is a lot of fun. And for me, you could talk to 100 different agents and get 100 different ideas for client events or any kind of events. But I like events where people can come and enjoy themselves, and they don't have to worry about talking to other people if they don't want to. So at the Saints game, we have people that come and they're very in their little group, and I make sure I say hello to them, and then they go find their seats. It's all there's like an open bleacher section, but we pay for it's like a burger, dinner, and a drink, and then the seats to get to the game. And then there are people that like to mingle and talk to everybody, and so I like that there's a good mix of that there. We've never done the pie event, the Thanksgiving pie event, and I get tempted every year to try it because I see all the people coming and going. But I think this was our 5th or 6th year where we do a pizza and a bottle of wine on Valentine's Day. And we have a great turnout for that. That is focused on our past clients. So that's a slightly smaller group of people. But again, we have a lender partner that helps out with that one too.
You mentioned the Saints game and the lender partner. And for some of our agents, they're hearing you invite your sphere to this game. But there's a limit on that. Talk about how you determine that and what that looks like.
The pizza event, I don't think we really set a limit on that, but we do have a set number of tickets for the Saints game.
It's kind of first come, first
serve. Yeah, and it's first come, first serve. And, you know, there were definitely people that missed out on that opportunity the first year, that then the last year when we did it, they were like the first people to grab tickets and didn't want to miss it. But yeah, we absolutely have a limit, especially for those. I need to be better, and then the Santa event. We take advantage of that every year. We definitely have people that come every year to that. And that one really is at no expense to us. It's the time to invite people and claim their spot. I'm curious to hear what other people do, because I am looking for more community events that are, you know, to help grow our sphere versus the events that we do that are for our past clients and spheres. Not as good about those.
Well, I think it's great, it's wise that you haven't set up so people can come, and if they want to mingle, they can mingle. If not, I mean, when you go to Target, you can see open lines for the people standing there, and people will still stand in the line to self-checkout, you know? That's okay, you know, that's okay, so it's good that you do that. Thank you. Jen, how about you, events?
Well, people definitely love the giveaways, that's for sure. I've done a few giveaways where I just post or text a video of myself talking about what the giveaway is. I've done like $100 gift card right before Thanksgiving, or just like local gift cards to different establishments. People just love that, and I get a good response out of that. The big event that I did last fall, I held an event at a cidery. It worked out really low cost for me because they served food, they had a band there. They just let me section off this little section of the cidery. There's like kids stuff to do. So like you said, like some people will just come and mingle, other people want to visit with you the whole time and they stick real close, you know, but it's nice for them to have the option to do either. And I did a giveaway at that event too. So, and then also on the invitation, I did $10 towards anything that night at the cidery. So, I mean, people like when you give them money or
so you
gifts,
weren't paying for
or
a whole, like, you just gave them $10 towards whatever they wanted to order.
Yep, and then they could just, it didn't cost me anything. And like I said, there was a band there, there's kids events. The cidery was happy to do it because I was bringing new people out to the cidery. Yeah, built a business relationship there, so that was a good, successful event. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so for us, there's a few different types of events though. So we have a couple of client appreciation events per year. One is our Thanksgiving pie event, that's one I mentioned before. Along with that, we do a golden ticket. So there's 2 or 3 golden tickets that we put underneath the various random pies. So then those people also can, if they get the golden ticket, then they have to post themselves on social media and tag us. It's just for them to get a free ham from Honeyham. And so that's always been, it's this big kind of an added fun element to it. And then we do, we have quite a few community events, and a couple of them that are big we do partner with the city of Rosemount for the shredding events twice a year. So in the spring and the fall. And what's beautiful is we did that early on, and so they basically advertise us in the Rosemount Park and Rec brochure twice a year is our logo and that we're sponsoring. So we get free advertising to every single resident of Rosemount twice a year. So that's been kind of cool. And then we do VIP events, and that is something special for the people who have done 3 or more deals or referred 3 or more deals to us that have closed. And we do we're just about to have one again, and that's our happy hour where we feed them food, and it's just a great time. It's an open house kind of thing, so they can come and go as they need to, but people love it. And then we used to do different gifts and things like that to them too. We've kind of changed it more to actual in-person event instead of doing gifts, because it's great that they got a gift, and some of them would call us and say, hey, thanks for the gift, but it didn't produce what we were looking for, and that is talking with us, being able to say, hey, I was thinking about you the other day, and I gave your name to somebody else. So the events seem to work better for us.
Now, Tony, you've already kind of tipped your hand on your tricks. Any more that you?
So I started during COVID doing bingo. because we couldn't meet. I was gonna do something. The year before COVID hit, I actually bought a huge blow-up movie screen and a projector, and I had like a drive-in movie, and I did it at my house, so super cheap, right? We did Sandlot. It was like the week after school started, maybe, so it was like September, and I had drinks, and we had like a whole popcorn section. Actually, my title company brought all different flavors of popcorn, the scoops, the bags, and then we had candy, and then we had some giveaways. And I didn't know how that would go, and it was amazing. People loved it, right? Like, it felt like being in a drive-in. They brought their own chairs. They sat in my yard. It was a little personal. I'm a little bit weird, but it was fine. Then COVID happened, and that wasn't gonna happen again. So I did virtual bingo, which was a big thing. We did like a music bingo, and it was a huge success. People loved it. And I had giveaways, and then COVID kind of continued, so then I did it the next year. I just ran it via Zoom meeting, and I bought a bingo thing off of Amazon, and people loved that. And I did like designer purses, and again, kind of random, like $100 at the outlet, and for some reason people feel like they're winning a home in Tahiti, and like a wine bottle or wine box and stuff. And my lender title company normally contributes some. So I've done that a few times, and then I did one here a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago. I did it here in person, and that was a huge turnout. Like, I was actually surprised at the turnout. It was kind of crazy. I think I had like 45 people show up for in-person bingo. If you do that, if somebody wants to do that, I have the bingo thing, so just contact me, or be happy to, and I have all the cards with the little slider things. People love bingo. So, and then they had a table of prizes. So when they won, they got to pick out, and then what was left was left. So, right. So that was a good success. I'm going to do that again this year. I'm moving it to like right after Thanksgiving. I want to do kind of a pre-holiday bingo, so it gets people in the mood, kind of Christmas themed. So I thought that we're going to move it then. But those are the ones that I've done. It's, COVID kind of put a weird kibosh in that, and so it's kind of rebuilding of what in-person stuff you do. I like the cider idea. I actually just talked to Olivia about doing something like that. They have the music, and it's just inviting people again. And people don't want to be social, but they want something free, and they, maybe want to see you or don't, whatever. Give them the ability to come and go as they please.
I like your QR code idea with those entries that you have to send them your pets friends.
Well, then you can know that you have all their updated information.
Right. It's a way to get
Got
their
rid of their
emails or-
AOL account finally. You got the updated email.
AOL, LOL. That's funny. Yeah, I remember doing that. I used to do Twins games back in the day, imagine that. But one thing I didn't think of was to ask people if they have children that don't like mascots.
Oh.
The younger one was bawling, the older one got mad and decided he was gonna take it out on the mascot. His brother was crying. TC never saw it coming. It was entertaining though, I'll tell you that. Anyone have any questions? Anyone have any thoughts?
I'm
Scotty?
just gonna make a statement, like for anybody who hasn't been in business as long as you guys are, that you have a huge sphere and past clients, buddy up, like grab another agent, because if you host, I do a lot of movie theater events and stuff like that, and I was scared that only 20 people would come, and then I'd look silly. Well, for one, they don't know it, because they say hi, they get their little popcorn, they go in and they watch the movie, but combine with another agent or two in the office, because your clients don't know that they're not all your clients. So I guess my point is, don't be intimidated if you think you don't have enough of a sphere or past client database to host these events. Start small, join with somebody else.
And one of the things that I think in the beginning I thought was, like, I had the wrong idea on, was that if people weren't responding,
Yes.
that it was a negative about whatever I was doing. And then at some bold or something, somebody was talking about the fact that it's the outreach, it's the connection, it's not the response that you get, right? It's that you're in front of them again, our realtor. And so not, right? And these office events are fantastic. So if you're newer, run with this all day long, like, like it is, again, nobody knows who your people are. They don't care who your people are. They they are just happy to be getting whatever they're getting.
And they're seeing all over social media, you're hosting an event,
Right.
and that's, yeah, impactful.
I want to ask Sarah, because I know you did this last year, and you were talking about community events, but can you talk a little bit about the food drive?
Yeah.
Because that's something that anybody can do, relatively low cost, big impact.
Yeah, thank you. I'm on the board for the Open Food Pantry in Eagan that feeds Dakota County, and I'm very passionate about it. So I've been doing this for quite some time. Alyssa and Hannah have done it now a couple of years as well. But what they did is we essentially canvass our neighborhoods. So I door knock essentially my entire neighborhood, shoot for like October is when I try to do it, when it's cooler but not cold yet. But I door knocked about 200 doors this last October. And real quick, the thing is that it's a grocery bag with a flyer stapled to it that has the information that they need. It essentially says, you know, who I am, but then here are the top 5 things that the Open Door needs. And if you fill this bag, and they can do more bags if they like, set them outside at a certain date and time. So Sunday between noon and 2, whatever it is, that I will come by and pick them up. And the first year I did it, we probably had 200 or 300 pounds in donations, and then it was 400. 2023 was like 560 some pounds, and then last year was over 1,000 pounds for my neighborhood alone in donations. And what was really fun about this last year, it being the 4th or 5th year that I did it, I can't remember, people opened the door and saw me and saw my paper bag and said, what day? What day are you coming back? Like, I didn't even have to, they were waiting for me practically. For Alyssa and Hannah, you guys also had great turnouts. It was the first, I think the second year Hannah did it, the first year that you did it.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where you need to gain that momentum, but it's an awesome, pick whatever organization you want. For us, this is an organization I'm passionate about, and people connect with it. And yeah, and I mean, grocery stores will give you those paper bags for free. Hannah went around and collected, I mean, she probably collected 400 of them that Cub gave us any that we wanted. So there was no cost to that. There was a cost, obviously, to printing the flyers, but we did it here, so whatever the market center charges. That was really about it, and time. And like, I think I got 26,000 steps in the day I did this, so I had to do it in 2 days, but yeah.
And we did it before Halloween, so we didn't give the candy donations.
Yeah, well, Open Door Food Pantry doesn't give out cookies and candy, so I didn't want to collect like that leftover stuff, because,
So which is important that people know your why, they know her why, right? They would love to be a part of something that's much bigger than just a real estate transaction. With Sarah, they know she's a generous person, and they know that their money's gonna go a long way.
it's also, again, that consistency, and it was so much more fun this last year when people recognized me and knew who I was and were excited to give again. That made it huge. That makes it fun too, but you gotta get there. You have to do it, like one of you said, like the consistency starts with just doing it once.
Awesome. Well, we have hit the time. We do have lunch, however, Sarah already bagged it all. And has taken it, so that was good of you. So if there's anything left over in there, please feel free. Let's give these marvelous ladies a round of applause. So as realtors, we not only want to talk to people, but we gotta have more people to talk to. So being a part of Open Door and other organizations will help you get to be with more people. And back to this guy real quick. He looks a lot more reasonable to discuss with right now, doesn't he? So things have calmed down, so I'm gonna open it right over Jason. Look at that. So it just takes time. So if you feel shaken right now,
I got a drink.
you
You opened it.
Oh, I do now. It's a good excuse. So if you're feeling shaken, just know that time and whatever effort you need to put into it, whatever, remember the word to decide is that means to cut. There are some things we need to cut. So let's be careful what's going in our system and out of our system, okay? Thank you all so much. That was a marvelous panel, and go grab some food, and we have connectors next too. Thank you.